FF Dot is a book containing a ton of Final Fantasy pixel art, but it's not quite that straightforward. So if you're curious about this thing, there's a little bit you would need to know about it before you decide whether or not you're going to make that purchase. Is it just for Final Fantasy fans? Can you learn pixel art from it? Is there even a point in buying it when you can get access to most of the pixel art online for free anyway? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, I'm Andrew Robinson of Robinson Pixels. Anytime I'm out in stores, I've always got one eye open to see if I can see anything in there that's related to pixel art. And this one I stumbled across in Books A Million of all places. It's also on Amazon, I'll put a link in the description. Now I don't even play the Final Fantasy games, but I do love me some pixel art. So even though this thing was shrink wrapped and I did not know what was inside, I went ahead and bought it. Now I want to talk about it. First, I'll just say this cover is gorgeous. I love the shiny little pixel grid it's got on the front and the back. Flipping through the pages, it looks like it's just got a bunch of sprites from the games, but it's not quite that simple. Before you even start examining the sprites, honestly, I would recommend you skip straight to the end of the book. The book ends with an interview with Kazuko Shibuya. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but it turns out she made a ton of the pixel art for the Final Fantasy games. Now, I am very guilty of playing the hell out of video games and having no idea who made the art. It's not really fair to these artists who pour their heart and souls into this craft, and we don't have any idea who did it. And it turns out a ton of the art for these games was actually made by this one woman. The interview goes over how she got into pixel art in the first place, starting out with just how much she loved manga as a kid, and eventually how she got into the video game industry. And she also talks about her approach to making pixel art and how she feels about color palettes and size restrictions. It's a really good read, and I cannot recommend that part of this book enough. But apart from that, what's actually in the book? The book goes through the different games in the series in order, beginning of course with the first game in the series on the original Nintendo Entertainment System, Final Fantasy. Now for the first 3 games in the series, each one is set up basically the same way. You start off with a very zoomed in sprite on the left page showing a pixel grid. This is a nice touch to help you understand the scale of pixel art. This stuff is tiny. Now the right page varies a little, but it's generally a collection of sprites. Sometimes it's a full sheet for one character, other times it will be a collection of characters all doing a certain pose, like this victory pose page. Hee, they look all happy. Then you move on to a collection of NPCs, bosses, environments. Each game has a little something extra. Final Fantasy 1 through 3 are all 8-bit games on that original Nintendo, but each section ends with like a 16-bit-ish version of the characters. I say ish because it's technically breaking the rules. They've got too many colors to really truly be considered 16-bit. And you know what? That's intentional. You see, Miss Shibuya talks in that interview about how excited she was to be able to break the color and size limits that pixel art normally has. I mean, don't get me wrong, she loves restrictions. She's a pixel artist. But also, it's nice to be able to break the rules when you need to. It's supposed to be fun. And she seems to be having fun. Now, between each game, there's also a little tiny interlude where there's a fun little gallery image. Sometimes it's a bunch of chocobos, sometimes it's an actual like art gallery. The pattern of the games changes a little bit with Final Fantasy 4 through 6. You see, those ones were already 16-bit, so with this one it starts out showing her new version of the characters alongside those original 16-bit graphics. And then of course it's got extra scenes and environments, and some of this pixel art is truly like just jaw-dropping. Now if you're like me and you don't know a lot about Final Fantasy, you still know that Final Fantasy VII was 3D, right? So like there's no way it's gonna be in the book, unless she drew new art for it, which she did! Each game from Final Fantasy 7 through 15 actually has a 2-page spread where she went through and she was able to redraw a ton of the characters in that new style. So do I think you should get this book? It kind of depends on what you want out of it. If you're a huge Final Fantasy fan, I would say absolutely. Now, if you're wanting this to actually learn pixel art, that's not what the book is for. It's more like a big art gallery, you know? It shows you some of the processes and different interpretations of characters, but it's not going to teach you how to do anything. This is a pixel appreciation book. And if you appreciate pixels, which I do, well then yeah, go ahead and get it. It's cool. Miss Shibuya also talks in this book about how she was able to find her own pixel art style. Now if you're new here, you don't know, this channel is actually normally a pixel art creation channel where I talk about stuff like that. And specifically, I have a video where I draw myself trying to determine my own pixel art style. So if that sounds like it's something that's interesting to you, you can check out this video right over here and follow along for more pixel practice. Now there's an interview with Kazuko Shibuya. I apologize if I Sorry if I God, I can't say the word mispronounced.